So as what you very rightly pointed out, that today is a very important day when Fed is expected to gradually taper off. But back to back you have the RBI also likely to make some announcements. So I think it's a very, the two situations are being very closely watched by everyone. But without any doubt, I think the market probably seems to be discounting the worst and seems to be very hesitant to go down and seems to be ready to move up. That is what it looks like. And especially with the fact that the FIIs probably have resumed their buying, it has lent some amount of stability to the buoyancy in that sense. But having said that, I still feel that the current economic situation is such and overall economic parameters are such, whether it's inflation, whether it's fiscal deficit, and then you have a target of trying to improve the growth, it's a very difficult thing to balance amidst a slew of reforms that the government is very keen to pass. I think the upside appears to be capped. So maybe I would still maintain that in the near term, we probably would still see an upside of around 150 to 200 points on the Nifty and possibly maybe around 400 to 450 points downside on the Nifty. So on a risk return basis, I think one has to be a little more careful.
Hi Dilip, good morning. So in that case, as a trading strategy, what could you top up on for that 150 point that you think is possible on the Nifty on the upside?
Good morning, Lata. A good question, but maybe a wrong question to me because maybe I'm not so good at giving the trading ideas. But I think having said that, I would still, I think, root for some of the MNCs at the moment, especially the way the RBI has made those changes. I would still go for some of the second-rung IT companies where I think a lot of action is going to happen. And my own belief is that some of these infra companies, as the pressure mounts on some of the promoters to monetize some of these assets, and also as it poses a threat of NPH to the banks, I think we'll see a lot of action on some kind of acquisitions or mergers and acquisitions kind of scenario in some of these companies. So I think some of these companies in the infra names also possibly would look good. So I think these are three areas where I would really look to buy very cautiously even from the current levels.
All right. Amit Trivedi is also joining into this conversation.
Well, I think there is so much of action on the government front that is happening at the moment and also on the interest front. So it's very difficult to take a secular call. I'm sure there will be a lot of volatility and uncertainty apart from unpredictability in these kind of companies at the moment. So I think since these are not very, very liquid names, I would prefer to wait and watch till the overall macro environment settles down before we can take any secular call on any of these companies.
Okay, we getting guesses that possibly banks will be asked to will be given some aid for consumer loans. Dilip, do you think automobile stocks are still worth going after? Anything you like in that space?
Well, I think in the auto space, we still continue to like the two-wheelers, given the overall economic conditions, and given the fact that the rains are going to be pretty good, and that the diesel and petrol prices still seem to be heading northwards. I think the two-wheeler company still appears to be the best bet, though the growth is very nominal, yet the overall parameters in terms of free cash flow, ROEs seem to be pretty good, and they seem to be pretty reasonably valued in terms of buying. So I think I would look at those companies. Apart from that, I think on the down, maybe if it comes down, maybe Maruti would be another stock that I would be looking at, just for a short-term kind of a trade. But otherwise, Tata Motors, largely on the JLR, is something which one should look at, is what I think.
Okay, Amit, we have 20 seconds. Quickly, your strategy on BH.